G'day guys, Carl from Navigate Travel. I'm in the garage. Today I want to tell you the story about my stuff up. It's cost me quite a bit of money so far. As you've seen from my latest Nunes full driving video, at the end of it, I was under my car, I'd actually broken something. Well, there you go, another Lithgow trip done and dusted. This one ended in disaster. Had a little issue, swaybar link, dropped the bolt, and then obviously tore the CV boot open. So CV we stuff, we pull it out, replace it. Won't be a big drama, but still disappointing. Now, the old Fortuner, the old girl, getting a bit old, 140,000 Ks. You think, oh, maybe it finally broke, maybe it finally failed on me. To no fault of the Fortuner, only fault of me, I broke it. And it was something stupid. But not only did I break it once, I broke it twice. So I broke it, I fixed it, and then I re-broke it. And I'll show you what happened, because you can easily get caught out, and I got caught out, didn't realise this was going to happen, hoped for the best, but got the worst. This right here is a swaybar with a Fortuner. Before going to Lithgow, I had some knocking noises in the front. Noticeably metal on metal, and when I looked at the front shock pushers, they were starting to go, so I assumed that it was the shock pushers. While the shock pushers are not the best, it wasn't the shock pushers. So what had actually happened is the swaybar link on the driver's side on the steering knuckle, it's starting to loosen. So, and this was just gradually knocking and knocking and knocking. When we come out of the Spanish steps, I heard a clunk, happened 3 times, and I didn't stop to check it out. So that was the point where it actually dropped the swaybar link, and the swaybar link absolutely smashed the CV boot. If you can see that, but that CV boot, torn apart. That actually isn't the first CV boot. That's the second one. On our way home, so Maddie actually lives a bit closer than me, so we decided that we'd shoot down to Burson's and have a look to see if they had the bolt-up CV kits, which apparently no one really actually has them. What they had was a super stretchy CV boot. So I had the idea that I was going to put this CV boot on, and then I thought about it and went, you know what? For the hassle, I'll put a new CV in it, because we know that we can do that quickly, because, well, Maddie's a pro at changing CVs. He's broken more than anyone I know. So go back to Maddie's, drop the swaybar link out, and then we changed the CV. So that all in all took about, I don't know, let's call it 30 minutes, max. One thing you got to consider, right, either way you do a CV boot, which we didn't really have the tools to do, the CV's got to come out, or the one side of the CV's got to come out anyway. By the time you get to where you can change the boot, you pretty much halfway got it out anyway, so that logically was a smarter thing to do. Because we don't have the tools to change the CV boot, it seemed like it was going to be a better idea. So what happened, right, we got the new CV in, not a drama in the world, and I'm looking at the swaybar and I went, let's just drop this link off the swaybar, which we did, and then we'll just leave one side connected. So in my head, that was never going to touch the CV boot. Now I got home, unpacked the car, lo and behold, when I was in my backyard's a little bit steep. As I've turned around, the swaybar has actually, the suspension's gone up, the other side of the swaybar not connected to anything has gone down, and it's driven straight through that new CV boot. So $250 CV, brand new, boot, gone, torn apart. So here I am, I'm in this position. What do? Do I attempt to reboot this brand new CV that I didn't really need to start with, or do I just buy another brand new CV? So I decided I'm gonna have a go. We're gonna try and reboot it. Now, get a stretchy universal CV boot, and this is going to be an absolute mission. So apparently the way the mechanics do it is they pull the CV apart, they knock it apart, and then they put the boot on it. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to try and stretch this CV boot over and have a go at it, and we'll see how we go. Either way, it's going to be unpleasant, so come and have a look. I'll see if we can do it. All the normal precautions for me. So car's being jacked up on a stand, tyre off. Now, to get to the CV, pull this cover off. There's a 34mm nut in there. Naturally, we're going to drop the steering knuckle, so upper control arm will come off. First, we're going to take off the brake line, ABS line. I did actually get really lucky when it dropped the link, so it didn't actually take the ABS line out or any of that, so that was a win. But yeah, obviously still got to manage it. Going to drop the steering as well, so we got to get the steering knuckle to flex around, like the hub to flex around enough to be able to let the CV go through. And obviously gloves, because it's just grease and crap everywhere. It is a terrible job to have to do. So glad Matty convinced me to Loctite this in. So 34mm nut, take it off the end of your CV. You do need a deep socket. I found that out the hard way. The good news about this is this actually moves, but the reason that moves is because it's fresh. What we found with the first one we took out is that we did have to leave the nut on and give it a few whacks and a few taps just to loosen it up, just to shock it. Take the up control arm off. I have already dropped the steering as well. It's going to glove up because everything's still covered in grease. Now, of course, just remember, be careful of your brake and ABS lines while you do this, because that's probably the biggest risk of this job. So what I find is the lower ball joint tops out. But yeah, it is a fiddly, tricky, pain in the ass process. And of course, just be careful not to damage your seals in here. I ended up dropping the lower shock bolt. Now I've got it all apart. I've got to get this CV boot on. Now, you can have a laugh at this. So that hole there has got to stretch over that, but we've got to do it this way because that's how the boot goes on the back. What I'm thinking, I'm going to turn the boot inside out, is because I want to be able to just pull it over, and I think that's going to be the easiest way to do it. I'm going to try and put some petroleum jelly on the inside of it, and hopefully that'll help get it over a bit. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to jack this up, put the shock bolt back in, so if I do bump it and it falls, I'm not actually going to cut that old boot off just yet. I'm going to try and get this new boot on, so that way, worst case, I can re-tape this, but best case, this new boot's on and we're laughing. Right. No, this is new CV. So, my secret. Cup of boiling hot water. Vasse. Well, petroleum jelly, but I do love saying Vasse. Custom made soda water, buddy. I don't know, let's call it a cone. Took the bearing seal, tapped that off the CV so I get it on. Yeah, just forced her on. Never just got to get all the old mess out of here, fill it with grease and strap her in. Well, it's an absolutely terrible job, but it's done now. I guess the take home of it is, one, you can't just have one sway bar link in, that's a definite, we know that now. The next thing is, if you hear a noise, just stop, check it out. And obviously if you do have a noise, make sure you diagnose it properly. Don't just hope that it'll be right, because in my case it wasn't, and it's just taken a lot of time, a lot of heartache. This job is that terrible, and I don't wish it upon anyone. You don't want to have to do it. It is a crap job. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions, so feel free to comment them below. If you like what you see, hit that subscribe button, and until next time guys, go travel.